Alright, here we're going to review the coordinate plane. Our whole next unit is based off of understanding the coordinate plane really well, so I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page before we move into it. So this is our coordinate plane. It has an x and a y axis. That's the first two vocab words we've got to be familiar with. The x-axis goes left and right. The y-axis goes up and down. The point in the middle is called the origin. And then each of these four sections is called a quadrant. The word quad has that base. Quad really means four. That's what it's saying. It's saying it's split into four equal parts. We start with the first quadrant up here, second quadrant is there, third quadrant, and then fourth quadrant. It makes a C. It's starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it might seem weird that we start in the top right, but that's where all of our positive numbers are. We have positives for the x, positive for the y. All of our positive x and y combinations are in the top right. That's why that's the first quadrant. So to locate any point or an ordered pair is talking about an x and a y, where the x coordinate represents how far left and right we move, and the y coordinate represents how far up and down we move from the origin. So we're going to plot each of these 6 points here, and then we're going to label them with our letters. So point A is at 1, 2. 1 is the x, 2 is the y. X tells you how far left and right to move. Positive goes to the right. Y is telling you how far up and down. A positive means you go up. So 1, 2 is right there. That's letter A. For B, 0 for an x coordinate means we don't move left or right at all. We're going to stay right there. -4 for the y means we drop down 4 spaces. That's B. C, x is -2. So along the x-axis, we move to -2. And then y is 5. That means we move up to a +5 for the y-axis. So -2, 5. That's where C is. -4, -3. -4 is our x-coordinate. -3 is our y. 3, 0 for E. 3 tells us move 3 to the right. 0 for the y says don't move up or down at all. It's going to stay right there. That's E. Last one, F is saying move 3 to the right, but now instead of a 0, we have -2. So from that same spot, we're going to move down 2. That's F. On the second example here, we're basically just doing the opposite. We're reading the coordinates from each of these points. We're trying to figure out where is M. Well, I always list the left and right, or the x-coordinate first. So we go to -5, and then up 4. -5, 4. For V, you see that's up there. I'm going over 4, up 6. For F, that's straight down -4. So I don't have an x-coordinate, really. I don't move left or right at all. So I'm going to put 0 for the x. And then it's moving straight down 4. P is right here. We're moving to the right 2 and down -3. N is right there. We move to the left 1 and we don't move up and down at all. So the y coordinate is 0. Last one, D, is at -5, -5. Right, so we really need to be comfortable with the coordinate plane, because we're about to deal with equations that relate this x and y. Every time we have an ordered pair, it's an x and a y. And every time we have an equation, actually I'm just going to write it with just some random numbers here. This is just an example of an equation we might see. We're going to have an x and a y in that equation that relates to the points that we will plot on the coordinate plane. So you have to be really comfortable with just how the coordinate plane works, so that when we get to this more complicated version of that, we understand what it's talking about. All right, we're just going to do a bunch of example problems together. Anthony placed the point of his pencil at the origin. He marked a point after moving his pencil 3 units to the left and 5 units up. 3 units to the left is a -3. Along the x-axis, we're moving from 0, 3 to the left, that's -3. And then 5 up, that's a +5. So he's marking the point -3, +5. Shade each quadrant that each ordered pair would lie in. So I'm just going to sketch the quadrants. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7, -1, we would move 7 to the right, and down 1, it would be somewhere down there. That's the fourth quadrant. 5, 1, +5, up 1, and it would be somewhere around there. That's quadrant 1. -10, -12, that means move to the left 10, down 12, somewhere in that bottom left corner. That is quadrant 3. Given that coordinate plane, we're going to answer each of these questions. What is the ordered pair for point L? Point L is at -4. We always list the x coordinate first. -4 is also the y coordinate. -4, -4. Which ordered pair represents G? We're moving 3 to the right and not moving up and down at all. So 3, 0. A is straight up 3 spots. So from the origin, we did not move left or right at all. That's 0. But we did move 3 up. That's our y coordinate. Remember, y always measures up and down. X always measures left and right. In which quadrant is point B located? Point B is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the fourth quadrant. In general, I'm not really sure why, but we write Roman numerals. This just means 4 in Roman numerals. When we represent the quadrants, it's just a convention that we write it in Roman numerals. Which points are located in quadrant 2? So this is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant. We don't use ones that are on the axes. So E does not count, A does not count. It's specifically points that are in that quadrant. So it's just J and H. Which point is located at -2, -4? So we go to -2 as our x. That means 2 to the left. And then 4 down, that's our y. That's point D. Which of the following best describes the location of 2, 0 on the coordinate plane? So 2, 0, that's saying move 2 to the right and don't move up and down at all. So it's really on this line. It's not in any of the quadrants. It's directly on, call that one the x-axis. That tells us how far left and right we move. In quadrant 4, the x-coordinate is always, so I'm talking about quadrant 4. This is quadrant 4. The x-coordinate in that direction is positive, and the y-coordinate is negative. These are all the positive x values. These are all the negative x values. These are the positive y values. These are the negative y values. So it's a negative y value and a positive x value. All right, hope this was a good review for the coordinate plane.